Working this alone. Well, hello everyone. My name is Nancy Brewington. I'm the owner of Hands in Harmony Wellness Company. And today I'm going to be doing a presentation on mental health and its impact on time management, stress management, and life management. And again, some of you may already know me or seen my presentations before. Just a little bit of background about me. I've been the owner of Hands in Harmony since 2011. I am retired military, and my passion is about helping people living a holistic, healthier life. And so this presentation is probably one of those avenues in which I'm going to do that. And this is just a disclaimer. Even though I am a registered nurse, this information that we provide is for informational purposes only. It is not to diagnose or give you any medical advice or any types of treatments. If you have any other questions, I do advise you to meet with your doctor or a mental health professional. And we're just going to give you some background information so you can go ahead and live a healthier life. And sometimes, let's say, maybe it's a little bit stressless. During this presentation, I'm going to be going ahead just giving a little bit of introduction about time management and mental health, understanding mental health and the impact on our everyday life, and also to talk about some of the mental health issues that may be impacted, such as managing your time, stress, and life. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the techniques that you can incorporate this in your daily life. And then, of course, we're going to end with meditation and conclusion. The importance of mental health in our everyday life is very critical, especially during the aftermath of the COVID-19 and being where we was all in lockdown. A lot of issues and a lot of problems surfaced because our lifestyle started changing. And so the importance is that being able to recognize what is going well in your life and what is not. One of the things I found with a lot of people is that with the aftermath of the pandemic, a lot of people started slowing down. They started realizing that the hurry and rush that they're doing from work to life and work and home to life, that they started realizing that it was impacting their mental health. And when you're on a go, 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 you don't really take time to understanding what's going on and some of the things that's impacting your everyday life, the stressors and everything else. So being able to understand a little bit more about your mental health, it's going to go ahead and raise your happiness. And sometimes some people don't even realize that they're unhappy, that they're sad, they're feeling a lot of different things. It's just so mixed up and so jumbled with everything. They don't recognize it. And also being able to impact, it's going to impact your mental, your life, your relationship, not only your relationship with your coworkers, your relationship at home with your children, with your spouse, and with your partner. And some of the other things too, it also makes you want to go to work, wants you to go home and enjoy your life. So a lot of these things, it's really important to take your mental health seriously. A lot of times in the past, a lot of people did not want to say that they're unhappy. They did not want to say that they're depressed or that they're feeling anxious because it was almost a taboo type of situation and discussion. A lot of times you'll have somebody say, well, suck it up and just continue on. No, you cannot, especially when you see it impacts so many different avenues in your life, your skills at work, your happiness, and your relationship with other people. So it is very important that we take this seriously. If you do have any questions throughout this presentation, I do ask, because I am kind of alone and I may not be able to see you raising a hand. What I will do at the end during the conclusion, I will have some time for questions and answers. So write your answers down in the chat, okay? So as I was saying before, mental health is a very important part. It affects how we think, we feel, and act in our daily lives. And if you neglect that, that's going to impact everything. And we're going to talk about some of the physical impacts that it's going to have in your life. So I'm going to I could ask you to raise your hands if you want to, but how many of you will go ahead and make sure that you make your doctor's appointments and your dental appointments? And that's critical. But when it's about taking time to explore how you're feeling mentally, I bet you that that is not a priority on your list. You say, as long as I'm able to get up, get dressed, go to work, I'm okay. But if you're getting dressed, going to work, and you cannot work, you cannot function, you cannot focus, that's not okay. So some of the positive outcomes of taking care of your mental health is you're able to set goals and work with others. And instead of just like going from day to day to day to day to day, and then the day to day to day types of things turns into months, turns into years, and almost into decades. And you're kind of like, what happened? I just remembered back when I was doing this and I wanted to do all these different things and I did not. And also, it kind of boosts your optimism about life, about you, about your relationship, about other people. And it puts you better in a better place of looking at everything. And I like to say I am a half full kind of a person, almost sometimes overflowing. And because I realize that's very important for me, because that helps me not only in my life, but my relationships. And also when I'm doing the presentations, it's kind of like preach and do what you preach. You become a doer. And I cannot, tell everybody else, and I'm not happy or optimistic myself. And it also boosts your confidence. If you're taking care of your mental health and everything else, you're feeling more positive, you're more confident about who you are, about what you're doing at work, about your relationships. It is all a well-rounded person. It is about your mind and your body being connected. And that's the most important thing. Neglecting your mental health, it can lead to some very serious physical health problems. We have been, over the last 15, 20 years, and even more than that. My first degree is in biology and pre-med. At one time, I thought about becoming a doctor, and it wasn't until almost 30 years later, after I retired from the military, that I became a nurse. And since that time frame, and even from the time I became a nurse back in 2006 to now, science and research is finding out so much more about the impact of your mental health and the impact it has on your physical body, leading to high blood pressure, weakened immune systems, and a lot of chronic diseases. Even so, to the point that it's been found that diabetes, it is a disease, but it's also caused by inflammation, and it can become a chronic illness if inflammation and stress prolongs its time more and more. Excuse me. Also, your mental health, not managing it increases stress, increases anxiety, depression, and just your whole mental being, to the point where you don't even understand why you're snapping at everybody, why you're snapping at your children, and even why you're snapping at people at work. In relationships, how many of you would like to have a healthy relationship at work with your coworkers? But if you're sad, you're anxious, you're depressed, that's not going to happen. If you would like to have a healthy relationship in your marriage or relationship with your children, that's not going to happen if your mental health, if you're having problems. Some other things too, work productivity. There's been research that's found that when you're not happy at work, when you're having a lot of other problems going on, it impacts your mental health, you're going to be calling out sick more often than not. And when that happens, when you do go back to work, the work piles up, you become more stressed, and it's just a continuous cycle. You're not going to be able to think well to produce the product that you used to be. You could probably say, you know what, I could think a problem, and I used to be able to excel at work. I used to have this creativity that you ask me a question, I could pop an answer and explain things to you. But if you're having a lot of problems with your mental health and stress and everything else, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. And of course, the quality of life. What type of life do you want? Do you want a type of life where you're always angry and sad and not able to get your work done and not getting that promotion that you want or getting that vacation that you want and spending more time? It has an overall impact on everything. So we should really focus more on our mental health, more so than we're spending on how we're working, how our work and job is doing. Because if your mental health, if you're having problems with your mental health, guess what? Your work is not going to be stellar, and you're not going to get that promotion. You're going to get angry. Why is that other person getting a promotion and you're not? So it impacts everything in your life. So we're going to talk a little bit about time management and seeing how that impacts your life, and then we're going to talk a little bit later on some things that you could do to help in managing your time. Because if you think about it, not only is managing your time critical at work, it's also critical at home. If you're not managing your time at home, you're not going to be able to get the things that you need to get done at home. And when you think about it, a lot of you, especially most of you here, you're at work. And being at work, that means that you also have a life at home. And when you don't time manage everything well, there's something's going to be loose and something's going to be missing. You're not going to be able to do a lot of things at home. You're going to wonder why your house is a mess, why you're eating junk food and going out to eat all the time, why your children is coming to you at the last minute for things. And it's like, Mom, but I told you 2 weeks ago. And you say, but no, I just now know about it now. So it impacts everything. And so being able to manage it, you're actually taking the time to prioritize your time wisely to maximize the productivity and to minimize wasteful time. So some of the negative impact of not managing your time is increased stress and anxiety. You're missing deadlines. You're not able to really feel very enthused about things. So of course your productivity at work is going to be low. And even in your relationships, whether or not you're married or even dating, you're not going to be really the kind of a person that most people want to be around. And it also leads to procrastination and as well as health problems. Now you're probably saying, how does managing my time has anything to do with my health? Look at the first bullet, increased stress and anxiety. It also causes a lot of strained relationships, a lot of divorces, a lot of breakups, a lot of just relationships and all, having problems at home with your kids, and you're trying to figure out why. I'm giving you everything. I'm working hard. I'm working 24/7. I'm at work. I'm making all this money to give you all of these things. But what are all these things worth if you're not spending the time, the quality time with your family? So in conclusion, neglecting your time and management has far more reaching consequences. And you really need to develop some type of technique to manage your time and to make your life more fulfilling and more balanced. And we're going to talk about some of the things that you could do later on in this presentation. So the positive impacts, of course, increase productivity, reduce stress, work-life balance. Now, of course, I use this scale to say it's balanced, but there's going to be a give and take. Sometimes a seesaw may be a little bit lopsided, but being able to manage your time, you can kind of get it to where it's a kind of an even scale, but it's doable and you can do it. And also, you're being able to achieve the goals like doing a vacation or getting that promotion or going back to school, because now you're able to set time aside to be able to do these things. And even decision making. How many of you have gone about all of a sudden somebody asks you something and you missed the deadline and they ask you for a response right now and you give them something and it's not the right one, or you have to go back and do it because it didn't work right the first time because you didn't manage your time. You didn't take the time to do everything in the proper sequence. And it's, of course, things is going to go wrong. And who wants to keep doing something over and over and over again when you could be doing it once the right way, manage your time, manage decisions that you got to get to doing it. And then that way you could go ahead and be more productive in doing some other things. And of course, enhance focus and concentration. Your nervous system, when you're doing so many different things, you're actually losing brain cells and you get very forgetful, and eventually you're not able to do much of anything and you can't sleep, and you're winding up taking these energy drinks and these booster shots to help your concentration when all you had to do is try to manage your time a little bit and get some sleep. So we're going to go ahead and talk about stress management. Stress is a natural thing. And if you've been a part of my presentations, this is one of the things, the topics we talk about all the time. We have stress. Life is filled with stress. I mean, getting up in the morning, going to sleep, it's all how you manage your stress that's key. A lot of times I ask people, are you managing your stress or is your stress managing you? As I said, we all have stressors. Planning a wedding is a stressor. But if your wedding's been over 6 months ago and you're still stressing, you're not managing your stress. Your stress is managing you. Especially if you look at, well, I got this financial problem and I didn't manage everything well, and you're just a cycle. So it's best if you understand that the short term, which is acute, like a wedding. You plan a wedding, it's over, done with. You plan a trip, it's over, done with. But it becomes chronic if you find yourself worrying and stressing over it and over and over and over, and then it becomes chronic, putting yourself in different types of situations, and it becomes chronic. And that impacts not only your body, your emotional, and also your mental health. And some of the things that stress has, impacts our autonomic nervous system. Some of you probably heard over and over again, the fight or flight. Your nervous system is built as a protector. So when you're in stress, your body's going to go ahead and say, I need to either fight this situation or flee it. Now, if you find yourself in a continuous chronic stressor, it will go ahead and cause your body to be continuously in the stress mode. And that's impacting your nervous system. And that impact will go ahead and impact your heart rate, your body functions, your immune system, because your body is always in this fighting cycle. So your blood pressure, when you're in a fight or flight mode, your heart rate goes up so that you can flee that situation. Your adrenaline goes up so that you can flee that situation and take care of that situation. Actually, a lot of your body functions decrease because, as we used to say in the military, you can't shoot and go to the bathroom. We didn't say it like that, but you can't do that at the same time. And so a lot of times, a lot of people, when they're in this high stress mode, they get high blood pressure because it's chronically always in this cycle. It's never going down. And some people have found themselves in adrenal failure because the adrenaline keeps on pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, and they always continues to go, and they become adrenaline failure. So it impacts everything in your body. So now I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about life management. Balance is the key for maintaining your mental health. You need balance between your work, relationship, self-care, and leisure time. Now, when you don't have any of those, then that impacts your life and everything else. So we need to go ahead and be very conscious of that. So one of the things, as well as that, the life management, is the impact of stress on the body, as I mentioned before. My slide did get kind of in the wrong place, but anyway, increased headaches, digestive problems, sleep disturbances, as we talked about. Even chronic stress can weaken your immune system and making people more susceptible to illnesses and diseases. I found, working as a nurse, that a lot of times, a lot of people who are stressors, they have some of the same type of diseases and chronic illnesses. Things like what they call autoimmune diseases can be impacted by high stressors. Crohn's disease, whether it's Crohn's disease or irritable bowel disease, they're all related to stress and the impact of stress on the body. And even sleep. If you can't, you're stressing, you're thinking about things, you're not going to be able to sleep well, and you need to sleep. You need to have at least 6 hours sleep. Now, I know some people say, well, I can sleep for 4 hours and I'm up and ready. And then my next question is, are you up and ready with caffeine, Coca-Cola, the energy drinks, the Red Bulls? So are you really up and going because you feel you could get only 4 hours of sleep, but you're relying on other methods of keeping you awake and keeping you alert throughout the day? Then I will have to say, no, your 4 hours of sleep is not good for you. There's been an increase of stress, how it impacts your mental being. You develop a lot of anxiety disorders, depression, and even post-traumatic PTSD. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people will go ahead and say PTSD is only for people who face combat or first responders. But PTSD, the symptoms of PTSD is found throughout a lot of other problems. A lot of people who lost a loved one, they suffer from the same symptoms of PTSD. And also people who, even with COVID-19, there's still some people who are having the same similar symptoms of PTSD as somebody who's been in combat, as somebody who's a first responder. So these are some of the things that happens to a lot of people when their stressors is overcoming them. And back to the same question we've had before. Are you managing your stress, or is your stress managing you? So, as I said before, I do apologize. My life management screen, the other chart got kind of pushed ahead. But anyway, managing life management is about the skills you have just to be able to live, just to get up each day. Sometimes, we just think about just the little things, but it involves everything in your life. Managing your stress. I mean, going out your finances, your physical, your emotional. We call like the 8 dimensions of wellness. And we think about wellness as just your physical, making sure that you don't get sick, going getting a cold, making sure you get your annual exams and things like that. But there's so much more to life, and being able to manage the different things in life will help not only your personal, but also your professional goals, and make it things a lot better for you, and make it easier for you to manage your mental health. But you have to be able to manage everything that's involved in that. And a lot of this is kind of repeating itself, but it's all the same thing. Here are some of the things that how life management skills relate to your mental health: stress management, emotional regulation. How many of you could find yourself just snapping at the littlest thing? Now, you may find, well, this is getting on my nerves. It's been going on forever and ever, and I just can't handle it anymore. And you snap, or you start getting into a fight before it didn't happen to you. And basically, you're the things that you're trying to do in life, you're not able to manage it, and it's starting to impact everything. Communication, you're not able to talk to your loved ones, to your family members, even to your coworkers. It starts hindering that when you're not able to manage these things. Even problem solving skills, like I mentioned earlier, you may have been able to manage your budget early on in life, and now all of a sudden you cannot make that $20. Well, of course, inflation makes spending $20 a little bit different now than it did 20 years ago. But you're not able to manage your finances as well before, because you're not thinking. You're getting up to different problems, and you get into different situations, and you're not able to cope and deal with them in a very well manner, and it starts having problems. But being able to manage it, you could be able to reduce your frustrations and prevent stress from building up in your life. Also, just some of them, and some of them we already talked about. We talked about the time management, decision making. We talked about all of these different things, and even the goal setting we talked about. But these are all the different facets of life. They all have an integral part in your well-being and everything that you do. And being able to manage these things properly will allow you to increase your quality of life. minimize your illnesses, minimize a lot of frustrations and anger, and even enhance. And who wants to be happy? It can't enhance that. So we're going to talk about some things that you can do to help enhance your mental health and well-being. Meditation, and we're going to do that a little bit later. But meditation can help you to reflect on your inner self. Being able to meditate, and sometimes it doesn't mean all the time listening to a guided meditation. Sometimes it just means that taking time to sitting outside, maybe 5 minutes, doing a deep breathing exercise, and then settling down and grounding yourself a little bit and finding out how are you feeling. We don't take time now to see how we are feeling. We're not taking time to see how different situations impact how we feel about different things. And so meditation can help you to do that. Self-reflection, this helps you to understand your emotions. Taking the time to understand, why did I just snap at my child for just saying, Mom, I need some help with my homework. And then you just snap, I'm trying to cook dinner and you're keeping me from cooking dinner, and you just snap at them. And then you kind of like, why did I do that? Was it because she was asking you the question? Was it because you was trying to cook dinner and she interrupted you? Or was it something that was going on at work? There are so many different facets that impacts our emotions and our mental health. But just by taking the time and asking yourself that one question, why do I feel that way? Doing types of physical activities like yoga helps to teach your mind and helps to discipline you in the movements. It allows you to focus on your movements. It allows you to focus on your breathing. It allows you to increase your method of concentration. And even though you feel like I'm just doing these exercises, you find that it helps you. You could actually go for walks. That could help you too as well. Practicing things like Qigong or Tai Chi. These types of practices helps you with your mental well-being. It helps you to do more self-reflection. It helps to calm you down. It helps to bring your body in check. And it also helps you to being able to relate with your coworkers as well. And journaling is also a good method too, because sometimes if you write it down, not going through the dumping of everybody hates me, yada, 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 but you could journal what happened this particular day. How did you feel about it? What did it make you do? Was it positive or was it negative? And if you keep a journal on a regular basis, you could go back and you could see, well, this worked for me and that didn't work for me. And by journaling, you could go ahead and keep track of those types of things. In ways that you could go ahead and to cultivate your mental health is gain a different perspective. Sometimes you're at work and you're going into all of this dynamics at work and you're snapping at people and you don't understand why she's acting like that. Well, sometimes I like to say the world does not always revolve around that one person, around you. And so being able to gain a different perspective. How is that person feeling? What is the difference in that versus what I'm thinking? And ask for feedback, talk with them, communicate with that person. And then that can help with your stressors and your relationship with that person too as well. And as I said, journal your awareness, write your thoughts, keep track of your emotions. And then after a while, you'll start seeing a pattern. And that might be a negative pattern. And by seeing that negative pattern, as you journal it, it will help you to say, I need to do something different. Practice listening. How many of you do that? How many of you are talking, somebody's communicating with you, and you already have a solution, and they haven't even finished talking to you, and you already kind of said, well, you know what, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, and you haven't even listened to them. Practicing listening, active listening, you won't judge. Well, don't judge. You won't be able to judge that person. Minimizing your stress, minimizing the stress you have with that other person, and allows you to be focusing and paying more attention to them, and at the same time being more reflective on yourself. And it gives you the chance to observe that person a lot more. And then creating space and time. We need that. We need that. So take time each day or each week. It depends on your stressors. You might need it each day or you might need it each week. But if you do the previous ones, you could kind of gauge when you need to create space and time for you. Creating space and time may, self-awareness, self-care. And sometimes when we talk about self-care and self-awareness, a lot of people say, well, self-care for me is getting a mani and a pedi. That's taking care of your nails and your feet. But are you creating space and time for you just to relax and to meditate and to download? And in doing that, you want to also try to avoid some social distractions. So the mani and the pedi may be a good idea, but if we want to go ahead and create space and time to help with your mental being, then you may want to just find time with yourself. Sit outside, go to the park and sit on a bench and observe and love nature. I have a practice now. I put a bird feeder out in my front yard, and in the mornings, I go and watch the birds. I have a hummingbird feeder, and I watch the hummingbirds at certain hours of the day. And I just really calm down, and it prepares me for the rest of the day. And that's something that you could do. If you live in a house, you could do that. If you live in an apartment, you could still put a bird feeder out. But find something that will allow you to avoid social distractions and just to be able to sit and breathe. Some of the things that you could do for managing your time management, it helps you to become less stressed, preventing time. As long as you make time for yourself, create goals. How many of we've done a presentation on SMART goals before, setting goals. And a lot of people say, well, I don't like setting goals. I'm just one of those at the moment kind of, spontaneous kind of people. And I'm going to ask you, if you're one of those spontaneous kind of people, how much stress are you going through each day? And if you say a lot, then stop being a spontaneous kind of person and set goals. Now, the nice thing of setting SMART goals is that it evolves, it changes. You can change it based on the dynamics. And that will also help you align yourself with your time, with getting things done for your life, and also helps to minimize your stress. And avoid multitasking, okay? Multitasking, I think you will want to be 100% at whatever you want to do. If you're multitasking, 20, let's say I just make it small, 4 things at one time. Guess what? You're not doing 100% of those 4 things. You're actually doing 25%, another 25% of that next thing, 25%, 25%. Now, when you do that 25% of each one of those taskings, what happened to that 75% that you should have been able to devote to that one task, making it 100% and making it quality work. So if you take the advice of creating goals, you don't have to multitask. You can get everything done. And if you manage the time right, you can be able to do these things more productively. Well, we're going to go ahead now. We have about 15, 25 more minutes. And we're going to do a 15-minute guided meditation. And then we'll have time for some questions and answers. Again, oops, my one slide. Here we go. It will allow you a little bit time. We'll have a little bit questions and answers a little bit later. So again, before we start on the meditation, because a lot of times during meditation, everyone gets so much in the zone that they forgot their questions. So as we get ready, if you have any questions that you would like for me to discuss after this, please put that down in the chat. And then when we get to the Q&A, we'll be able to go through some of those questions. So for those of you who have questions they would like to talk about a little bit more, and as I said, this presentation is a very broad one. And, to be able to talk a little bit more about time management, managing your time techniques and things like that, it would take a different presentation. Or if you would like to, contact me, we'll have my contact information later, and I could go ahead and help you go through those different things. So go ahead and put your questions and answers into the chat. And for those of you who do not have any questions for me for right now, what I would like for us to do is to go ahead and get to doing what we call a stress reduction mindfulness meditation. So let's begin. Before we get started, I want you to begin by getting yourself in a very comfortable and quiet place. Sit, lie on the floor. And if you're at work, may not allow you. If you're in this conference, you may not be able to do that. But sitting in your chair, I want you to sit up upright in your chair with your back against the chair, your feet grounded on the floor, uncross your legs, close your eyes gently if you feel comfortable to doing so. And take a moment to settle into your body and become aware of your breath. So let's get started. Try to let go of any distractions and commitments at this time. Allowing yourself to fully focus on the present moment. Let's start by bringing awareness to your body. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Begin to scan your body from the top of your head down to your toes. Notice any areas of tension, discomfort, or tightness. Don't judge, just notice those areas. You simply acknowledge these sensations. Taking that breath in and out. And if you find yourself getting distracted, something that's going on around you, just go back and focus on your breathing. Shifting your attention to your breath, feel the natural rhythm of your breathing. Pay attention to the rise and fall of your chest and the sensation of your breath at your nostrils. Take a few deep breaths in, exhaling slowly and fully through your mouth. Inhale, exhale. Taking a deep breath in and out. Now visualize yourself rooted like a tree. Imagine strong roots extending from the soles of your feet into the earth, anchoring you securely. Feel the stability and support that this grounding provides. Feel the support of the earth underneath your feet. Feel pure and strength throughout your body as you become more stable and supported. Now become aware of your thoughts without getting caught up in the thoughts. Imagine your thoughts as passing clouds in the sky. Observe them with detachment, allowing them to come and to go like clouds in the sky. They're just the thoughts this is passing through. And if you feel any thoughts and you want to hold on to that, go back to focusing on your breathing, inhaling in and out. This is your time now to allow yourself to be free. Allow your body to be free of any stress. Allow your emotions to be free of any stress. You're breathing in and out. As we're doing this, you're starting to feel your body relaxing from the top of your head down to your feet. Feeling a warmth, a soothing light radiating throughout your body. What happened? As this thought goes down through your body, it relaxes each part that it touches. That warmth, that light, penetrating every cell in your body. Feel this light melting away any tension, leaving you feeling relaxed and at ease. And as you do this, take a moment, just a brief one, to notice any remaining tension or stress you might be holding on to. Focusing on your breathing. As you exhale, releasing any tension with your breath, visualizing it leaving your body, dissipating in the air with the clouds. Now choose a positive affirmation, a mantra that resonates you with right now. It could be something like, I am calm and at peace, or I release what no longer serves me. Repeat this affirmation silently to yourself, feeling its positive energy. I am calm and at peace. I release what no longer serves me. Repeat this to yourself. Breathing in with each inhalation, imagine yourself breathing in a sense of calm, peace, and calming energy. Exhale all the stress. And take a moment to reflect on something you're grateful for right now. Feel the warmth and appreciation in your heart as you focus on this positive aspect of your life. Slowly bring your awareness back to the room. Wiggle your toes and fingers. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Carry a sense of calm and relaxation cultivated today with you as you continue the rest of your day. I'm just going to give you just a few minutes. We have about 7 more minutes before the end of this presentation. In conclusion, don't ignore your feelings, rather explore them. Gain awareness of your emotions, paying attention to your gut as much as possible, as much as you do your brain. Keep track of your feelings and notice any patterns. When you do these types of things, you're going to help with more self-awareness of how you're feeling and how you're dealing with a lot of different circumstances. And in doing so, it's going to help you manage your time a lot more and help you reduce your stress a lot more. And it's going to also help you develop strategies that you can help improve your overall mental health and well-being. Neglecting your mental health has a far-reaching negative impact. If after this presentation you find that not realizing how much it's impacting your physical and mental being, even your professional success and personal relationships. If you feel that a lot of these things are being impacted, then do the things you need to do to cultivate more healthier relationships, a healthier well-being, minimizing your stress, and develop the techniques to manage your time, your stress, and life skills. It's really essential for creating a more balanced and fulfilling life. So are there any questions? If you want, you can take yourself off of mute and ask the questions. I do have one question here in the chat. Yes, the presentation, they're recording the presentation and you'll be able to get a copy of it. Yes. Are there any other questions or anything, any techniques you would like for me to talk about a little bit more? We have about 4 more minutes that you would like for me to talk about managing your stress or time management or goal setting or anything like that. And I do not see any questions or anybody raising a hand. I see. Okay, we got a survey. So I hope you fill out the survey, and if you have anything else, um, I I have nothing else. If you do have questions or something that you would like to be able to discuss with me, you could just email me. That's our email. I would say call me, but I'm not in the office that much. But you just definitely, I do respond very quickly back to emails. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you gained something out of it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Oops, there's something else that popped up. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
We will also send a copy of the recording to everybody as well. So I'll send a copy for to Lisa, and then anyone that pre-registered to the presentation will get a copy of the recording. And then it'll also go out on the SASD Wellness website as well, so that people can listen to it that way as well.
But there's still a few people on. Unless,
Thank you,
of course,
Nancy.
you're welcome. Is there anybody had any questions or anything? You can take yourself off of mute. But this concludes my presentation. You're welcome. And you have a wonderful day. And for those of you who are at the